Welcome to the Mycitizenagency channel. Relocating to a new country is about more than just packing suitcases, collecting documents, and booking tickets. It's the start of a whole new chapter in your life. New streets, a new language, different social norms, unfamiliar customs. Even a simple visit to the store can feel like a real challenge at first. Many people think that the main challenge of immigration is the relocation itself. But in reality, the most important period begins after you relocate. That's when you face questions like how to settle in, how to communicate, where to find support, how not to feel like an outsider, and how to quickly start feeling that your new country is becoming familiar and comfortable. In this video, we'll explain how to adapt more quickly after relocation, what steps will help you avoid unnecessary stress, and why preparing for a new life begins long before you board the plane. First and most important, don't expect instant results. Adaptation is a process. Even if you've long dreamed of relocating, prepared thoroughly, and arrived with a clear plan, the first few weeks or months can be emotionally challenging. In a new country, it's as if you're learning familiar things all over again. Where do you get a local ID card? How do you make a doctor's appointment? How do you rent an apartment? How do you understand what's written in a letter from the bank or government agencies? All of this requires energy, attention, and patience. Don't compare yourself to others. Some people make friends quickly, some pick up the language more easily, and some find a job right away. But everyone has their own pace. Your path to adaptation doesn't have to be perfect. The main thing is to move forward gradually and not stop. It's important to understand, feeling lost doesn't mean you made a mistake by relocating. It's a normal reaction to major changes. The more calmly you approach this period, the faster you'll be able to get through it without putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. The more you learn about the country in advance, the easier it will be once you arrive. Preparing in advance helps reduce stress and allows you to get your bearings in daily life more quickly. Before relocating, it's worth learning the basics. How public transportation works, what documents you'll need in the first few weeks, how the healthcare system is structured, where to look for accommodation, and what expenses you can expect initially. It's helpful to find out in advance which areas are suitable for living, how to open a bank account, how to set up local communication services, and which apps the country's residents use. You also need to focus on your documents. Check the expiration dates of your passport, visa, permits, translations, educational certificates, references, and insurance. In a new country, missing even one necessary document can slow down important processes. Make a list of the first things to do after you arrive. For example, find accommodation, set up phone service, get a bank card, register your address, figure out public transportation, schedule appointments, and submit documents if required. Such a list reduces chaos and gives you a sense of control. When you have a clear plan for your first steps, the initial days go by more smoothly. Language is one of the keys to adaptation. Even if many people in the country speak English or another language you're familiar with, knowing the local language can greatly improve your quality of life. You don't have to speak perfectly right away. It's important to start using the language in real-life situations, at the store, on public transportation, at a cafe, when talking to neighbors, or when making appointments. It may feel awkward at first, but practice is what helps you overcome the language barrier faster. Set aside at least 20-30 minutes a day. Learn phrases you'll need in everyday life. How to ask for directions, how to check a price, how to make an appointment, how to explain a problem, how to say thank you or apologize. Simple phrases like these build confidence. Language courses, conversation clubs, apps, videos, podcasts, and talking with locals all work well. You can also watch the news, children's shows, or short videos in the local language. They're often easier to understand. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. People usually appreciate it when you try to speak their language. Mistakes aren't a failure, they're part of the learning process. The sooner you start speaking, the faster you'll feel more confident. Adapting isn't just about paperwork and work. It's also about understanding the culture. Every country has its own customs, how people say hello, how they communicate with strangers, how far in advance they schedule meetings, and how they view personal space, punctuality, silence, lines, and neighbors. What is considered normal in one country may be perceived otherwise in another. For example, in some places it is customary to actively get to know your neighbors, while in others people prefer to keep their distance. In some places it is important to arrive exactly on time, while in others a short delay is allowed. In some places questions about salary or family are considered normal, while in others they are seen as too personal. Observe. Watch how locals behave in different situations. Read official websites, local forums, city groups, and guides for new residents. Ask if you're unsure. The better you understand the unspoken rules, the fewer situations will seem strange or unpleasant. This helps not only to avoid misunderstandings, but also to feel like part of your new community more quickly. One of the most common mistakes people make after relocating is isolating themselves. When everything around you is unfamiliar, it's tempting to stay home, communicate only with loved ones online, and avoid making new connections. But isolation slows down the adaptation process and intensifies feelings of loneliness. Try to gradually expand your social circle. This could include language courses, professional events, sports activities, volunteer projects, interest groups, parent groups, or local events. You don't have to look for close friends right away. At first, simple social interactions are enough. Say hello to your neighbors, chat with classmates in your courses, ask a question of your colleagues, or attend a local event. Every such contact makes the new country feel a little closer. Talking to people who have already relocated can also be helpful. They can advise you on what to look out for, where to find information, and what mistakes are best avoided. But it's important not to limit yourself to people from your own language community. To fully adapt, you need to gradually integrate into the local community as well. After relocating, your usual lifestyle is often disrupted. Before, you had familiar stores, favorite places, a clear daily schedule, and loved ones nearby. In a new country, you have to start from scratch. A daily routine helps restore a sense of stability. Find the nearest supermarket, pharmacy, public transportation stop, park, sports club, cafe, and medical center. Plan a convenient route to work, school, or important institutions. Find out where you can go for a walk, exercise, and buy the foods you're used to. Create a schedule. Time for language study, job hunting, paperwork, rest, walks, and socializing. Even simple, repetitive actions send a signal to your brain. Life is becoming more understandable. Don't forget about your health. Sleep, nutrition, physical activity, and rest are especially important during the adaptation period. The stress associated with relocation can be intense, so it's important to stay physically and emotionally fit. Once you have familiar activities and places, the new country will no longer feel completely foreign. Financial transparency greatly affects your peace of mind after relocation. In a new country, expenses may differ from what you expect. Rent, security deposit, transportation, insurance, communication, paperwork, household purchases, taxes, and utility bills. Create a budget for the first few months. Divide your expenses into mandatory and additional categories. Check how much it costs for accommodation, groceries, transportation, healthcare, education, and communication services. It's best to have a financial cushion, as the first few months often require more spending. Open a local bank account if necessary. Find out which payment methods are common, how money transfers work, what fees may apply, and how to pay bills and taxes. If you plan to look for a job, research the job market in advance. What are the requirements for your profession? Do you need to have your degree verified? What documents might employers request? What does a local resume look like? Which websites are popular for job searches? The clearer you are about the financial side of things, the less anxiety you'll have and the more confidently you'll make decisions. Documents are the foundation of a stable life in a new country. Even if it seems like some issues can be dealt with later, it's best not to put them off. It is important to understand which steps to take first: registering your address, obtaining a tax ID number, getting health insurance, filing applications, obtaining permits, signing up for public services, and enrolling children in school or kindergarten, if relevant. Deadlines may vary by country. In some places, the process takes a few days, in others, several weeks. Missing deadlines can lead to fines, delays, or complications when renewing your status. Keep your documents organized. Make digital copies of your passport, visa, permits, contracts, insurance, certificates, and translations. Save letters, submission confirmations, receipts, and application numbers. If the rules are unclear, it's best to consult with specialists. An error in your documents can cost you time, money, and stress. Professional advice helps you navigate the process more smoothly and avoid unnecessary risks. Adapting does not mean you have to forget your old life right away. It's normal to miss home, friends, familiar foods, the language, places, and traditions. Sometimes after relocating, you may feel like you're living between two worlds. The past is far away, and the new place doesn't yet feel like home. This can be emotionally challenging. In moments like these, it's important not to blame yourself. Stay in touch with loved ones, but try not to live only in the past. Create new experiences, explore the city, try the local cuisine, find your favorite spots, and celebrate small successes. You can preserve your traditions while opening yourself up to a new culture. This isn't a contradiction. Your goal isn't to give up who you are, but to expand your life by adding new experiences to it. Adapting quickly isn't magic or luck. It's a step-by-step process: preparation, language, paperwork, finances, communication, understanding the culture, and taking care of yourself. Don't expect a new country to feel like home overnight, but every small step brings you closer to feeling confident. Today you figured out the public transport. Tomorrow you are able to make yourself understood at the store. In a week you found a helpful contact. In a month you already understand the city better. Gradually the unfamiliar becomes familiar. Relocating is a big challenge, but it's also an opportunity to start a new chapter, broaden your horizons, gain new experiences, and build the life you've long dreamed of. If you're just planning to immigrate to the EU and want to understand whether you have a realistic basis for applying for citizenship, submit a request for a free consultation via the link in the description. We will review your situation, create a personalized immigration plan for you, and prepare a complete set of documents to successfully obtain citizenship in one of the EU countries. We work on a one-on-one basis, taking into account your goals, your lifestyle, and your specific circumstances. Thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in this topic, subscribe to our channel and feel free to ask questions in the comments. We'll regularly publish program reviews, answer frequently asked questions, and share important news about immigration law and life in the EU. Your journey to Europe begins with the first step. Mycitizenagency is here for you every step of the way.